Hello, this is Mike. NoStressMike.com. I think I opened up a wound when I made the video meeting a woman, and so I thought I'd better make part 2 on this. And what it is, I was talking to my friends. Remember I said you're the average of your 5 best friends, and my friends are all old. Well, most of them, there's only one that's older than me. The rest of them are younger than me. But anyway, we were talking about, well, I asked them about, what happened, how did things get like this, that it's so hard to just talk to a woman. And the woman friend of mine, she was saying that she used to work in an office when she was young, and she'd have guys saying all kinds of stuff to her, and it was no big deal. And that was one of the story I want to talk about. She said she had this one guy that says, "Hey, you want to fool around?" And she goes, "Oh no," and this guy was old enough to be her father, She goes, "Oh no," and he says, "Well, would you mind standing still while I fool around?" And there was comments like this all the time, and there's no harassment about it. And she says that in her time, the mother taught the daughter what was appropriate for a man, the actions that a man would take, what was appropriate for the man to say, what was appropriate a man to touch, how to touch, when to touch, and all this stuff. She was taught this by her mother, and so she knew what was right and what was wrong. In other words, these men could say things, and it wasn't harassment. She knew they were just teasing, and it was no big deal. And then, like I say, when they go to a certain point, well, then you just tell them to stop. I mean, that's you went too far. You need to stop. And of course, there's things just like Hollywood. When where sexual harassment is really, it's in your face kind of stuff. But I say, a young woman should already know this stuff. Like I say, she's been taught by her mother, and she gets experience. And it's not like she goes reports somebody or does this type of stuff. You don't do that stuff. She'd go to her mother and say, "Well, this is what happened," and her mother would say, "No, don't allow this stuff." So then, and would do all this stuff. So that would make it, when you know the boundaries, that makes things a whole lot easier. And so I was right when I said that I felt, I feel very uncomfortable talking to a woman here in the United States. There's just so many things that could happen bad. And I mean, legally, I'm not, as long as I'm moral, it doesn't bother me. But I say that kind of stuff, I know I'm doing things morally proper, but I say legally, I'm going to get myself in trouble just by saying the wrong thing. It just, and that's what I'm saying. That's what stops me here in the United States. And I thought, like I say, I thought it'd be better if it was like on Facebook or emails and stuff like that, where you can talk to them a little bit more without you do one step at a time kind of thing. But then, like I say, you come to find out, then they're too scared to meet with me, So now why? I don't know. It just comes to the end, There's just so socializing with a woman here in the United States is very difficult, and I wish I had the answers. I've been getting a lot of comments. One of them, well, more than one, but there was a lot of them, some young men, and that's what they were saying, that they were having problems on, and I wish I could give you some good advice, but I say I don't even have any for myself. I just, and it's very important. We need someone. For me, the best has still been when somebody introduces me to some gal. That it still works out. And this way, we can go in, we can start doing the small talk and just go from there and see what happens, So that's a lot easier. And I think one thing is for that is both the man and the woman, when they come into something like that, they have, I forgot the word, but they're looking, we both know we're looking for this particular outcome. We're looking for a mate. So we both realize that when we come together, instead of playing games and all this kind of stuff, when we sit down the first time, we know this is what we're doing. And like I say, for me, I like, I'm honest and upfront right from the very beginning. It's no big deal when I'm introduced like that. And like I say, so now first we just kind of just feel each other out to see if this is the kind of personality we want to be around. We know we're not going to get somebody exactly who we are, but we just kind of see how it's going to work, and then we go from there. Now, another thing a comment that was brought up that I thought was very good was they talked about country gals, and he was from the South, and he was talking about a good Southern country gal. She enjoys being spoiled. And that's when he said that, it dawned on me, that's exactly what I do. I spoil my woman. And like I say, because I don't believe in equal rights, it's my obligation to take care of her and spoil her. And one thing I've learned since now it's been 6 years without my wife, I've learned that's not a good tactic, because they just tend to take advantage of when you're trying to, like I say, spoil them. I didn't ever look at it as being spoiled, but I've had people say, well, you're too eager, too open, and all this kind of stuff. You're supposed to kind of play hard to get. Well, you don't play hard to get with somebody that you're trying to really influence their lives. So, and like I say, because I look at the loyalty of a woman, you pay for this loyalty, and you get it by spoiling them, in my world. But like I say, it doesn't always work that way. Like I say, the gal in China that I had, now she was very receptive to me, but only when I'm there. When I wasn't there, then it was going back to her friends, and then that's when, So, and I kind of took that. I kind of thought that could have happened, and that's one reason why now I'm looking for somebody to share my life with. And I talk about, I want somebody to hold my hand. In other words, I don't like leaving them, and but it wasn't so much on that kind of thing. But that's a good example. But when I leave somebody like that, that's not a good relationship. There are a lot of relationships, they'll go off to work in another state or something for weeks or months at a time, that's not a good way to do a relationship. So that's why I say I want to really stay with them, and so I wish I had some answers to how to find the woman, both on the woman's side and, like I say, how to find a man, on the man's side. But I say in the United States, I don't know. And I say I've tried different techniques and stuff like that. None of them work. And basically it all comes back to I'm scared I'm going to say the wrong thing or do the inappropriate thing or whatever. And like I say, it's, the feminist stuff sucks. And I'd rather have a woman that knows how to be a woman and knows how to be a lady and knows where to draw the line, and she can express without hurting my feelings, letting me know that, okay, you've gone far enough, and and at the same time helping me move to the next step, and in which, like I say, but I say I was spoiled myself. I had my wife for 41 years, and like I say, she was a good example. I just kind of took for granted all women were like that, and it's not. And but speaking as a man, here in the United States, you're going to have a tough time. If I was a woman in the United States, act like a lady. Don't use all the makeup. A man likes the woman more natural. And like I say, because really, a man falls for a woman, how do I say, exactly what he sees. And that's how I get. And then I say, so if you're natural, and you know what I mean, you take care of yourself, you're fit, you eat properly, that shows you have respect in yourself, and that sure draws a man's attention. Now, how to get the man to say something, how to get the man to go along, I don't know. Like I say, here in the United States, it's tough. Outside the United States, you wouldn't believe it. I meet a lot of gals. Sometimes they're married, and so I meet a man and wife, and it doesn't make any difference. Like I say, I enjoy people, and I have a lot of fun, meeting people, spending time with people. But like I say, keep an open mind and see what's going on. This is Mike, NoStressMike.com.